So for those who don't know, I've been a long-time viewer of the indie animation series Disventure Camp. I've watched the show since 2022, and since then, the show has come out with a lot of new content. Recently, the last episode of Season 4 came out, and I thought it was pretty good. We got our closure with the cast, and now that the season's over, I think it'd now be appropriate for me to give my final thoughts on the cast in the form of a ranking. This list will not include the hosts, but it will include my opinion of all 18 contestants and what I thought of them during their time on the show. Just a disclaimer, this video is my opinion, and I'd like for you to respect my opinion, regardless of what yours might be. And this video will also contain spoilers for those who haven't seen the season or the show at all, so watch the show first and then come back to this video. Now, without wasting any more time, let's rank the characters from worst to best of Disventure Camp 4 Carnival of Chaos. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this take. I am aware of how popular this character is in the fandom, and this character is none other than Ted Gordon. Ted is my last place pick for a number of reasons. Mostly after he was eliminated, the show decided to take a turn with his writing for the worst. I feel like episode 16 was what really solidified Ted as a joke character in my opinion. From the first episode and his audition, I had no idea whether or not to take this character seriously. He was a decent strategist and competitor that was ultimately blindsided by his team. I liked his dynamic with Linda for the short time that it lasted, and it was nice that he was able to form at least one genuine bond for his short time in the game. Other than that, I don't have much to say about Ted other than that's why he's my least favorite. I personally believe Ted is the most overrated character in the cast, and the community hyped him up way too much. I'm sure a lot of people can agree with this take. 17 is Diego. I know a lot of people had their problems with Diego during the beginning of the season, and I understand completely. Diego's arc for the time he competed was revolving mostly around his situationship with Spencer and his friendship with Hannah. It is commonly agreed upon that Diego made advances towards Spencer that can be seen as creepy or at least disturbing to say the least. Spencer voting him out was the reasonable thing to do, even if it would end up haunting him later. The reason he's above Ted, however, is because outside of Spencer, Diego is genuinely a cool guy. He has positive relationships with other people and has respect for animals, which I'm sure anyone can respect. He got closer with Spencer in episode 16, which left me really pleasantly surprised. And I guess while we're on the topic, I should clarify that I don't really heavily dislike any character on the cast. I'm just explaining my opinions in a manner that makes sense. Overall, Diego's low placement on this list is mostly warranted, but I just enjoy the rest of the cast more than I enjoy him. "16 is Marissa. I don't know, there's just something about Marissa that comes off as boring to me. So Marissa has way more screen time than Ted and Diego, but her story mostly revolves around her relationship with Anastasia and nothing else? Marissa feels like a one-dimensional character with a story that was only designed to fuel another character's story. I'm not saying this type of character is always bad, but it can get stale really quickly, especially when the character has more to expand on, like maybe a more intense rivalry with Linda, or some kind of explanation as to why she isn't pursuing the military. Marissa was always about being a respectful leader, and I can respect that. However, when your character feels like a device to only fuel another character's story or Yuri plot, it ends up on low placements in tier lists. 15 is Natalia. I am aware that a lot of people really like this character, and I understand. I like Natalia, but I also like everyone else that I haven't mentioned yet. Back to Natalia, I do like that she makes witty remarks and can be entertaining when the show calls for it. I also enjoyed her close friendship with Logan and Richard. Natalia and Alessio made a good pairing in the comeback episode. Other than that, there's not really much to say. I just like to move on to the other characters in this list. 14 is Anastasia. She's low on this list because of her aggression and hostility. I like Anastasia, but her paranoia can sometimes be a bit much, like when she elbowed Ivy in episode 7 and seemingly felt no remorse. She had a nice romance with Marissa, and during the pre-merge had a good rivalry with Logan. I actually really enjoyed her rivalry with Logan. It was something to keep in mind as the pre-merge episodes progressed. Anastasia also had a nice dynamic with Zayd, but we all know where that went in episode 20. I'm still upset about Zayd's elimination to this day because Anastasia could have just spoken to him instead of trusting Logan when he was clearly guilty. Anastasia's life as a model could have also been expanded on for 25 episodes as she was in the competition. I feel like we could have gotten a backstory on why she doesn't like men or something. Just something to think about. "13 is Jade. I'm aware that a lot of people really like Jade, but in my opinion, she's a bit overrated and definitely overhyped. She's supposed to be a notorious strategist, and I can get behind that, but her emotionless persona can get kind of boring. But the reason she's above the other characters on this list is because she had some good dynamics and her strategies often paid off in her favor. Her most notable dynamic was with Isabel, and they had a really great friendship. I also liked her on and off friendship / rivalry with Spencer that went on for almost 2/3 of the season. A lot of people say that Jade was the rightful winner, and I can definitely see why. I think Jade earned the win more than Logan solely because her success was not due to being liked, but due to her strategy and being at least a decent person. And 12 is none other than Amélie Pierre. I really like Amélie, but not as much as the rest of the characters I've yet to mention on this list. My favorite thing about Amélie is easily her voice acting. Her accent and voice is done so well, the person that voiced her should feel accomplished. Other than that, I really liked Amélie's dynamic with Hannah both before and after she returned. I liked how she was able to get Hannah back to her normal self after her heel turn in episode 19. Amélie is a solid character, but there are other characters that I like more, so we'll move on. And 11 is Linda. I definitely feel that this character does not get enough support for how great she is. Linda had an entertaining rivalry with pretty much everyone on her team, and the way she caused conflict was nice to watch. The tiebreaker between her and Anastasia in episode 11 was really cool to watch. It felt like a movie. Linda by herself is also entertaining. Her voice is very well done for the kind of character she is. Some of her challenge performances are laughably pathetic, which makes her better. Basically, the way Linda just gets on everyone's nerves is what makes her so good. She also had a nice dynamic with Ted and Richard for the time it lasted. It was really nice to see her and Richard become genuine friends after in the beginning not being able to see eye to eye with each other. I really like Linda. We are now in the top 10, and these are the characters that I had the best impressions of. The characters I'm about to mention have different reputations among the fandom, but I still feel like I need to make it clear this is my opinion and nothing anyone says is going to change it. Thanks for listening to my short intermission. Now for the top 10. 10 is Logan Bell, the winner of the season. I am aware that this character gets a lot of hate for all the flipping he does, and I get it. Logan is likely responsible for the eliminations of one or two of your favorite characters, but to me, Logan is pure. Logan is just overall a really capable and likable person. He gets along with others well and behaves as a reasonable human would. Most of the time. I really don't understand why discovering his bisexuality had to be a big deal throughout the season, but it's still one of his character traits, I guess. One thing I like about Logan is his challenge capability. He was able to help his team out when they needed it. Despite coming short a few times, Logan still persevered and fought his way to the top. I thought the whole arc with Logan's fear of water was also really interesting. In episode 14, Logan nearly drowns and is resuscitated by Spencer. And thanks to this event, Logan became afraid of swimming, despite it being something he was supposedly good at. He is an Olympic swimmer after all. It takes many episodes, but in the end, thanks to Natalia, Logan is able to get over his fear and swim his way to victory. I just really like this for him and I'm not upset that he won. However, there are characters that I enjoy more than him. Nine is Richard. There isn't much to say about Richard other than he's underrated as hell, but he did have a lot of good moments during the season. He's a funny character. He's also a wise mentor figure for characters like Logan and Natalia. I really appreciate Richard for who he is and I have nothing bad to say about him. He doesn't really do much after he's eliminated, but he's still nice to have around. I liked his connection with Logan and Natalia, and his friendship with Linda was also nice to see as the two got to understand each other better. Overall, I like Richard, and I think it's unfortunate we might not get to see him in a future season. I really like the old basketball coach. 8 is Benji. I really like Benji. He's a wholesome, nice, silly little guy. I really liked how he went from being the most disliked character in episode 1 to being the most liked character in the cast. I am aware that Benji here is the most liked character in the fandom. I don't disagree with this idea, but I do like other characters more than Benji. Benji is mostly known for being entertaining and having wholesome relationships with other characters, most notably Tristan and Hannah. I really liked his friendship with Hannah. It's probably my favorite dynamic in the season. Hannah accepted Benji for who he was and taught him how to properly socialize. I wish I had someone like that in my life. Benji also manages to befriend Zayd after eliminating Ivy, and I'm so happy these two get along now. Despite the strange interactions they first had in episode 10, I'm glad Zayd was able to forgive him. Benji is also shipped with Tristan, and the final episode brought that ship to light. The whole fandom was celebrating their relationship finally becoming a thing after shipping it for so long. I think Benji's relationship with Tristan is cool, and I'm really happy for them. 7 is Alessio. I really like Alessio. For the character that was eliminated first and has the least screen time, he's pretty high up on the list. Alessio easily became my favorite character after episode 2 when he was eliminated. I really liked his character development where he found his place in the game as well as his art. I really liked his friendship with Logan and how Logan helped him with figuring out what he wanted to do. I also liked his dynamic with Natalia during the comeback challenge. I was actually hoping Alessio would be the one to return, even if he wouldn't do much. I find it cool that Alessio is very talented, being skilled in both art and music. I wish I was that talented. He knows how to play guitar, which is cool. His closure with Natalia during the finale was cool too. I really liked Alessio this season, and I think he's earned his spot this high on the list. 6 is Isabel. I don't have much to say about Isabel, but let's cover what I do have to say. I appreciate how Isabel is so lively and full of energy at the beginning of the season. Her energy really gets you going when she's on screen. I really liked how her team trusted her the most because she was a nut. Her relationship with Natalia that lasted through 17 episodes was nice to witness as well. Not to mention, but her singing voice is amazing. I really liked her dynamic with Jade, and then the two worked together really well in getting through the merge. Their strategy was on another level, even if sometimes their methods were unorthodox. Isabel can also just be a really funny character, which adds to her charm. Isabel could have easily been a good choice for season 5, and no one would have had a problem with it. When Isabel is on screen, you know the scene is going to be good. Isabel also provided good entertainment as Jade's helper in the finale, as God intended it. Five is Spencer Lawrence. I really enjoyed Spencer throughout his time on the show. I really liked how he's supposed to be the smart guy, and he most definitely is, but some of the moves he makes, more like all of them, put himself at risk of being eliminated, and episode 18 was when his luck finally ran out. I think Spencer handled Diego, maybe not in the best way, but what he did was reasonable. voting out someone that could be a distraction. I also liked Spencer's dynamic with Jade. The two worked well together, and I like that even after he's eliminated, he's still able to support Jade and become friends with her. I also think that Spencer is really well voiced. His voice and accent is loud and clear, and it really makes his character stand out more. His voice actor did a very nice job. I liked how Spencer defended Jade at the round table in episode 23. He explains why Jade deserved the win, and I like that he's supportive of her in his explanation. I also like that he's with Isabel when Jade wins the jury vote. I don't know why, that's just really funny to me. Overall, I think that Spencer is a really good character that has earned his place on the list as my top 5. Four is Hannah. I really enjoyed Hannah this season. I find her archetype as a recruited cast member to be unique because it hasn't been done before. She also goes into the game with a different mindset than everyone else because she was not aware of what she signed up for. I think Hannah probably had the best social game of the whole cast aside from maybe Logan. She was relatively well liked by most of her team and managed to stay well liked by the community as well. Hannah had many dynamics as well. She had one with Diego, one with Tristan, one with Amelie, one with Benji, and one with Logan. I personally like how Hannah is very sociable and she knows how to have a good time regardless of who she's talking to. Hannah has this aura around her that just radiates good energy, and it's definitely something we needed this season. She did really well in the game for being a recruit. 4th place in the game and on this list is impressive. We are now in the top 3. These 3 characters are none other than the Vibe Tribe themselves, so I'm going to talk about them in order from least to greatest. 3 is Zaid. I think Zaid had the best motivation to win out of the whole cast, and I'm still salty about the way he lost. Zaid is a professional chef that went to culinary school and wants to win Disventure Camp to give back to his mother, who just sacrificed a lot to give him and his siblings a better life. He had a really good run in Disventure Camp. He was able to cook for his team and maintain good relationships with people. His relationship with Ivy was really nice to witness, and I think the two look good together. Zaid was able to comfort Ivy after her failure in episode 6, and the way he did it just made him pure boyfriend material. We all want a man like Zaid. Not to mention, Zaid also has a pretty good singing voice, and I think we should have got to hear him sing more in episode 6. His dynamic with Tristan was also pretty cool. He was one of the initial members of the Vibe Tribe plus Benji. He and Tristan and Ivy managed to create the most pleasant and wholesome trio in Disventure Camp. And this chef cooked the season and this list. Two is Ivy. Ivy just radiates good and funny energy like the dork she is. Her journey as an actress is handled way better than a certain character I'd rather not talk about. The way she tries to be a social butterfly but ultimately fails and gets voted off is beyond hysterical. She comes off as this weirdo who says the wrong things at the wrong time, and I like her for that. Ivy also has the best singing voice in the whole cast. She sounds like a goddess. This Blue Moon was easily the best song in the episode, and I don't care what anyone else says. Ivy may not have gotten far in the game, but she made a lasting impression on me that warranted her spot in 2nd place. Her performance in the later episodes after her elimination solidified her spot for me. If you hadn't put it together by now, my number 1 pick is Tristan Vick. Tristan is a unique character, and it's not just because they're non-binary. They're actively the most likable character on the show. They get along with absolutely everybody. They might not have talked to everyone, but they definitely radiated good energy. Tristan was an absolute miracle to have around. I like their dynamics with just about everyone, and I really enjoy Tristan as a character. I don't really have much else to say other than I just really like Tristan. Their dynamic with Benji was one of a kind. Tristan and Benji were always meant to be. that's the end of my Disventure Camp Season 4 ranking. That was a lot to tackle, and I hope it was worth it. If you watched this far and would like to see me talk about Disventure Camp more often, consider leaving a like and subscribing. It really helps out the channel a lot. What's your ranking on the Carnival of Chaos cast? Comment your opinion below, and I'll see you next time.